a pioneer in computer eyewear. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. With us from Gunnar Optiks is CEO Joe Croft. Hi, Joe.
Fred, thanks for having me on the podcast. It's great to be here today. Appreciate all you do for the tech community out there. You really put some great information out.
Well, thank you very much. Well, let's start with a little bit of background here. It's hard to believe, but I think your company's about 20 years old.
As a matter, as a matter of fact, we are celebrating our 20-year anniversary this year, which is mind-blowing to me. As you start to measure things in decades instead of years, it really puts things into perspective.
Well, tell us about it and the need that you saw and addressed.
You bet. So again, going back 20 years ago, to give you the real story, the inception was 2003. So that's more than 20 years ago. A friend of mine who was in the Wall Street trading game, he worked for a big trading firm and had multiple screens in front of him, and was having headaches, not just bad ones, migraines that were debilitating. So he went to his doctor who said, yeah, these computer screens are causing you issues. You need to look at the screen less. And as you can imagine, someone who does that for a living, he was not happy whatsoever. And I was finishing up almost a 10-year stint, a decade-long stint at Oakley, which is the premier innovator in sports optics. So I had a background, again, with my background. I'm an engineer by trade. I have an engineering degree from Stanford, and I can't help myself. I just love to innovate and invent. And we jumped in on this full force, knowing that future generations were going to have even more screen time, and came up with a solution that has been patented, proven, and over the course of the last 20 years, sold millions of pairs. So we literally have protected millions of pairs of eyes, and would love to, hopefully we get some time to talk about that technology today. But it's something where mission-based, we're out to save people's eyes and make their lives better.
Well, tell us about that technology and what it does for people.
You bet. And I'll frame this in first telling you the problems with looking at a computer screen, and then what we did to solve that problem. So, and all of this is well documented, and I can send you links for studies and whatnot. But problem number one, when you look at a computer screen, your eye, which is darting across the page, especially as you're doing things like reading or spreadsheet work or video gaming, your eye is actually moving in what's called a saccade. It's jumping from place to place. And the time for each of these repositionings, a saccade, happens to be about the same amount of time as a blink. So when you blink, you lose your place on the page. And so what's your body's natural reaction? I want to be efficient. I want to be, reading faster or doing my spreadsheet better or gaming better. So it, instead of blinking at a normal rate of about 1 every 5 seconds, slows down sometimes to 1. If you're a pro gamer, we've actually timed them and seen some of our pro gamers blinking once every 4 minutes. But normally, a normal person like myself goes down to a 1 every 15 to 20 seconds. So your blink rate is slowing down significantly. So problem number one, your eyes dry out. And the only way your eyes, the surface of your eyes, your cornea gets any nutrients is through your tear film and all of the nutrients that come in through your lacrima, your tear ducts. And as you dry your eyes out, you're literally starving your eyes. So problem number one, your eyes dry out and you starve your eyes. Problem number two is when we look in the near distance at a computer screen, we have to flex our intraocular eye muscles. Okay, there are 2 sets of muscles in your eyes. There are actually a lot of muscles, but one is getting your eye muscles to converge and focus on a point. The second is a little lens in your eye that needs to fatten up. That's your intraocular eye muscle, and you have to flex those to see in the near distance. And any muscle that remains flexed in that same state of flexion all day long without breaks or a whole lot of variation is going to cause you problems. So repetitive stress syndrome. So dry eye, number one, muscular strain, number two. Number three is the one that everyone talks about that's interesting but misunderstood, but it's the quality of light that comes off of a computer screen is spiky, has spikes of energy. And our eyes love to see full spectrum, even white light. When you go outside, you've got nice, natural, full spectrum light. So spikes of energy, we don't like that, and especially heavy in the blue light 450 nanometer part of the spectrum. And we'll talk about that in a minute and how we solve some of those problems. So dry eye, muscular eye strain. Number 3, the quality of light. Number 4, glare and visual noise. Okay, looking at a computer screen, anytime you have reflections, in your either your eyeglass, optical system, or whatnot, anytime you have dust, things like that, you struggle to see what you really want to see. And we can talk more if you want to get super technical about how great e-ink screens are, but LCD screens, unfortunately, are tough on your eyes, and reflections are terrible. So what did we do to solve all that? We went, and the very first thing that we did was figure out how to curve optics and fit them close to your face. Okay, most prescription eyewear that you buy is very flat. And one of the things that we learned at Oakley was how to curve those and sit them close to your face, and then patented the same thing that Oakley patented for curved lenses. We patented here at Gunnar, which is an offset optical center geometry that allows you to curve lenses without inducing any distortion. So that's important. How does that help you out? It creates an ocular microclimate around your eyes. And we've been able to put sensors inside and outside that the lens and show that relative humidity will grow 50 to 60% higher than without a curved optical system. The other thing is it keeps air current. So I'm sitting in an office, we sit in our home, wherever we are, even slight air currents break up the tear film faster. So it protects your eye from those air currents. So those are the 2 main things to keep your eyes from drying out, is ocular microclimate with increased humidity and protecting from drying air currents. That's the number in our studies, which we've done extensively. Our biggest study was over 100 test subjects. The number 1 reported symptom that was alleviated was dry eye. So that's great. All right, put that to the side and move on to problem number 2, muscular eye strain. We look at this screen all day long, we flex our eye muscles. We put into our lenses an interesting focusing, you can see a slight change as I put that in front of the camera, and a slight focusing power that helps your eye muscles relax. Because if we start bending the light before it hits your interocular lens, your eye muscles don't have to flex quite so hard, and they can relax just a little bit. And it's amazing how a little bit of help over the course of a long period of time makes a huge difference. So focusing power, we call it on our website, Gunnar Focus. That's an aid for your eyes to let eye muscles relax. Third problem we talked about was the quality of light. And the quality of light is important. Everyone talks about blue light glasses. I hate it when people talk about blue light glasses because blue light isn't bad, right? It's misunderstood. Blue light is actually great. Wake up in the morning, one of the first things you should do is walk outside and look at the bright blue sunny sky. Okay, blue light is associated, the reason it gets this bad moniker in the evenings is associated with melatonin suppression, and can in the evenings keep you from producing melatonin and falling asleep. So that's why it's blue light glasses have gotten this name out there. And yes, we do block a lot of blue light. In fact, we're one of the only people that I know of that publishes how much blue light we block. If you look on the package of every single one of our Gunners, you'll see a big shield and it says either 65 or 35 or 20 or 98. Those are the percent of blue light we block at 450 nanometers. So why do we block blue light? Part of that is to enhance contrast, because your fovea centralis, the part of your retina that sees in your central vision that you're using to saccade across the page, it has almost no blue light sensors in there. So if you filter out the type of light that your eye isn't really designed to see in your central vision, give it more of the light that likes to see in the central vision, contrast perception is enhanced. And one of our best studies actually was a radiology study at 4 different universities where the radiologist looked at x-rays with and without Gunnar, and they could see more cancer chest nodules when using Gunnar on a black and white digital screen. So contrast perception increases as you filter out blue light. So again, we can't give you full spectrum light, but we can alleviate some of those spikes and make it more comfortable to see. And then finally, glare and visual noise, right? We put anti-reflective coatings on our lenses. We put on our high-end lenses, we put oleophobic and hydrophobic coatings to keep the fingerprints and water spots and everything off there, to keep things optically clear. And at the end of the day, relieves eye strain, makes you feel more comfortable. Again, interestingly enough, in that 100-person study, the 96% of the subjects said, I feel less tired and I feel like I have more energy. So great endorsement. We've been around for 20 years and it's great technology. It works.
And continuing to evolve. It sounds like you've put so much work and research into this.
We continue to evolve continually because we consider ourselves a visual ergonomic company. Okay, we are helping people understand digital visual ergonomics. Our first original tint that we introduced, as I mentioned to you before, was our amber tint, which I'm wearing today, and that blocks 65% of the blue light. Over the course of 20 years, we've evolved different tints for different end use applications. So including, there's some people that have a tough time wearing a dark amber tint, and so they asked for a lighter tint, which we call our clear, at 35% blue light blocking. We then, and this is a fun story, I went to DreamWorks Studios and they pleaded with us. They said, we have a portion of our department that's called the Golden Eye department, and they have to edit frame by frame right at the end of the production run, any animated film. They're looking for pixels out of place. That's how intense their visual tasks are. And they're always under the gun because they're always at the end of the production cycle. And they worked 20-hour days for 3 weeks straight, and their eyes just kill them. They're like, we need your technology, but we can't have the color shift in there. We need true color. So we produced a lens called our Clear Pro that reduces 20% blue light, but gives you all the other things we talked about, the Gunnar focus, the high wrap, and the anti-reflective anti-glare coatings. And that Clear Pro is designed specifically for people that need to work in true color, like videographers, like people at DreamWorks Studios, like photographers. There are certain science and STEM type professions where they need to work in true color because they're working with graphs or charting and things like that. So Clear Pro, it's a portion of our line that we released fairly recently, about 2.5 years ago. And then this year we did our first ever full shield single lens that we have. In fact, 2 days ago we released a great version of called the Bermuda Triangle. Prior to that, we did a collaboration with Cyberpunk and did a full frame single shield lens called Dex, Cyberpunk's Dex. And then we did our own branded non-collab called the Visor. But it's very cool because you see literally no frame. It's a single shield lens. No one's ever done this before. And creating the optical geometry to do that single shield lens. Again, puts us out there. We're always innovating and we're always pushing for the next new great thing.
And I know you've had other collaborations as well. You're also available for prescription wearers, right?
Correct. We do a large portion of our business in prescription, and we love visual ergonomics. I've been out on the continuing education speaking circuit talking to eye doctors about how to properly prescribe for computers. And this is a good one for all of your listeners. Your eyewear that you get from your doctor that corrects you for 20/20 vision is not appropriate for computer use. And that blows a lot of people's minds, including doctors. They're like, wait a minute, I just fixed them. I gave them 20/20 vision. And if I can explain quickly what 20/20 vision is, it means that you can see 20 line type 20 feet away. So that means that for anyone that's myopic, aka nearsighted, meaning they can see well in the near distance, but they can't see in the far distance, they just fixed your distance vision. Now, A lot of people are myopic because of what's called occupational induced myopia. They grew up reading books. They grew up working with their hands. They grew up spending all their time using their eyeball in the near vision field. And what happened is your body's pretty smart. It takes a perfectly spherical eyeball and says, man, you're making my eye muscles flex really hard. How about if I elongate that eyeball and make it a little bit, instead of spherical, a little bit football shaped, okay, toric shape. And at that point, your eye muscles can relax. And instead of your eye muscles flexing in the near distance, they now can relax in the near distance, but you sacrificed your distance vision. So you go to your eye doctor, and your eye doctor fixes that by giving you a lens that now lets you see the leaves on the trees across the street. But what happens? You look at the leaves across the street for 20 minutes a day, and then you spend the other 10 or 12 hours back doing your near work, and your eye muscles are flexing, and your body is smart. So what does it do? It makes your elongation even greater, and you go through what's called a myopic progression. You keep going back to the doctor saying, my prescription got worse. My eyes got worse. And he's like, well, darn it, let's go fix your distance vision again. And you keep going back to the eye doctor. He keeps on letting you see the leaves on the trees for 20 minutes. Great during the day, but you're now in a position where your near vision is getting worse and worse. Instead, I mean, and I plead for everyone. I ask everyone, how many pairs of shoes do you own? Everyone's got 20 to, who knows, 50 pair of shoes, and all very specific. They've got hiking boots and golf shoes and, ballet shoes and dress shoes and whatnot. And ask them how many pair of glasses they have. I go, oh, one, maybe one backup. And what prescription are they? Oh, they're both the same prescription. Go ask your doctor, please. I want a distance or all around, general purpose pair of eyewear. And I want a pair of glasses specific for what I do for a large chunk of my day, which is look at my computer screen. And he will change that prescription to where your eyes can see comfortably without having to flex in that near distance. So as you're doing that 8 to 10 hours a day, your eye doesn't say, hey, I want to reshape myself and elongate the eyeball more. So
That's a great explanation. What's your take on the smart glasses that everybody, I mean, there's some that are out there now and a lot more coming apparently.
good. I am a huge fan of smart glasses, and HMD, head-mounted displays, is what I see as the future of smart gadgets. I love it. And I've followed it since day one, and I keep in contact with a lot of different companies. But I also know some of the failings. So here are the good things and the bad things. Okay, number one, absolutely love the form factor is getting better and better, where we're reducing battery size down. We're getting to the point where it's no longer a little bit of a monstrosity. In fact, Saturday Night Live did a great skit. You can look it up if you haven't ever seen it, about the original Google Glass, which early pioneer, you have hats off to what they did with that product, but it was clunky and they're trying to do too much. And that's one of the things. So it's been interesting to see a lot of these stripped down to, let's just do kind of camera capture. Let's do voice capture and pipe you out to through your phone out to an AI agent who's giving you, voice activated both commands and then in response open ear audio responses, things like that. But ultimately the problem is this: the input output, it's a little funky. Voice activated is not great. Open ear audio is not great. We don't love, I think we're becoming more private, as opposed to, maybe 10 years ago, we were like, hey, let's go be conspicuous with our tech consumption. Let's go put our lives online and whatnot. But we're now getting more private, and it's just not that cool to talk to yourself or talk to someone through open ear audio or whatnot. So, so input output has some failings. And then the other thing is battery life. They're really struggling to keep keep things powered. And as you miniaturize things down into smaller and smaller form factors, that is even smaller reduction in battery life. I love there are functional prototypes of actual contact lenses, but powering those is the hardest thing. So love what's coming for the future, but again, so we're just not there yet.
Planning to play a role in this?
We talk again. You mentioned collaborations. We are very collaborative friendly, and we have worked with a lot of both, software people on the gaming side, developers, brands, and hardware people as well too. So to say that we would get involved in this, I would say high likelihood, but nothing to talk about definitively on this call right now.
That's a stay tuned, I think. So,
Exactly.
what's your take on some of the, I don't know if you'd call it controversy, but there's differing opinions about the benefits of blue light blocking.
So as I mentioned before, and that's why I absolutely hate the term blue light blockers, right? And as I mentioned before, it's highly misunderstood. The Again, having been around for 20 years, having pioneered this category, I think that, well, I'll tell you what happened. As we became successful and became kind of highly exposed in the tech category, we've been at Best Buy, for example, for not 20 years, but 18 years. Okay. And we sell very well there. We have had a lot of success on online forums as well, too. And a lot of people are like, oh, cool, we're going to jump in and get in on blue light because it's cool. And funny thing is, COVID was one of the best things that happened to our company, because everyone was now on a computer, everyone's health conscious, everyone's eyes are hurting them, and so a bunch of people jumped into blue light. But again, without an understanding of what blue light really does. And I think that the media jumped on, oh, blue light's bad, blue light's bad, blue light's bad. Protect yourself from blue light. There's another moniker name for blue light, which is HEV, high energy visible light. And so people really concentrated in on, the HEV factor. So without understanding that blue light can be good, right? In certain parts of the day, I encourage people every 20 minutes, you should take 20 seconds or more, go look away from your computer screen and look at least 20 feet away. You hear about people saying, I want to touch grass. It's not a bad thing. Walk outside, get blue light, because by the way, the amount of blue light that you get from the sunshine far exceeds in terms of lumens. I mean, we're not talking about, a 2 times, or a 4 times, we're talking 100 times as you're outside in the sunshine. And so to, tell people that this is all damaging, it's the media, both the media and also the cheap Amazon knockoff blue light glasses have done a bad job of telling you what blue light actually does. Now, again, do we have correlation between, melatonin suppression in the evenings and disruption of sleep patterns and shifting of circadian rhythms? Sure. So can that be, ameliorated, with blue light blocking? You bet. But I think there's been this media jumped on blue light bad, and then they're like, oh, studies say blue light isn't, can be good. So there's some conflicting stories out there, but we do understand what the mechanism is and what the interaction is. And so we've said all along, blue light's only a small portion of what we do. And I hate the fact that the category has become blue light glasses. I've always said computer eyewear, computer eye strain reduction. That's what we do, is we do computer eye strain reduction glasses, but that's a big mouthful.
Terrific. So tell us a bit about pricing, where things start, and where people can go for more info.
Super. So easy, go to gunnar.com. And when you get on Gunnar, you'll see that we outline our performance levels. And I've always been of the opinion, hey, we want everyone to have accessibility to our technology. So we start as low as $50 for our, again, good, better, best. We have performance levels on there. And in the 50 to 75 level, that's our signature line. From 75 to 100, that's our epic. From 100 to 150 is our legendary, and then above 150 is mythic. So if you have any gamers out there, they'll recognize our levels do correspond to a lot of gaming terminology in terms of our performance levels. But what do you get that's different? I'd say across the board, all of them have those main things we're talking about, which are the high curvature to keep your eyes from drying out, the Gunnar focus, which we're talking about, the anti-glare, anti-reflective coatings. What you start to get in higher performance levels is better materials that the frames and lenses are made out of, better packaging and accessories, including cases, cleaning cloths, and so on and so forth, and then better warranty. So for example, if you were to buy something in the signature line, it would be an injection molded frame, again, good, sturdy, great quality. It would come with a pouch that's made of microfiber you can clean it with. And it would have a 1-year warranty. As you jump up into the epic level, we include cases. You'll see that you now have some fit features on the frame. So you'll have adjustable nose pads or spring hinges, and you'll probably have some hybrid materials in there, like some metals or some acetates. And then as you jump up into our legendary, you'll get all of those other things, nicer case, more accessories with it. We then include a step up in the lens quality. It's a polyamide lens as opposed to a polycarbonate lens, which has slightly better optical properties. And again, a hard clamshell case. And then up into Mythic, we go crazy on the Mythic. We do our current Mythic offering has mineral glass lenses, 2-year warranty, almost impossible to scratch them. They are mineral glass is what they make telescope lenses out of, and camera lenses out of. So really, it's as optically pure as you can get.
Well, terrific. And congratulations again to you and the team there for what you've built over these years. The site, gunnar.com. Joe Croft, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Hey, appreciate it. And again, any questions, I'm very accessible. So thank you much.
The Haven 10,000 lantern is a smartly designed, beautiful solar light that you will love indoors or out. It is waterproof with up to 1,200 lumens of brightness. That's a lot of light. And the base becomes a flashlight at the push of a button. The power comes from a built-in lithium-ion battery recharged by the sun. The solar panel is built in, or USB-C. The battery can even recharge your phone. Did we mention how durable it is? How it folds down and can run for up to 120 hours on a charge? But the real power of the Haven Lantern comes from the people behind it and their mission to provide this quality lighting to those in the world who need it most, including in disaster emergencies. Your purchase helps to fund those efforts, and if you use the code Techstination20, you'll get it at a 20% discount. That's Techstination20 at havenlantern.com. Create your haven.